This is by Nick Crowley. The Disturbing History of Hotel Henry, Former Asylum. Requested by Metal Ryan. All right, guys, let's go ahead and check it out.
It's so dark. Dark, even the sky. I'll never get out. Oh no, don't let them take me in there.
Insane asylums always creep me out. A nurse's day with the mentally ill. Oh God, shock therapy. This was very common. Why did they ever think that applying like electric shocks to people's head would like cure them of whatever mental problem they had? That makes zero sense. This looks like some footage from like the 1940s or like the 1950s.
It's long since been known that the mentally ill have been subjected to severe and unimaginable treatment in the United States. Centuries ago, it was viewed as a stain on your family's image if someone in your home were suffering from one of these disabilities.
That is true. Yeah, back in the day, like if someone had autism or Down syndrome or like, you know, some mental problem, they would just send their family member off to a freaking asylum. That's terrible.
Because of this, disabled family members would be locked away inside of cellars, abandoned in the streets.
That's really sad.
Hidden away in barns. They were punished for conditions to which they had no control over. And by the 17th century,
hey, Humong Us, thank you for the super chat, bro.
Needed to happen, which brought along an all new kind of horror.
Guys, like I said, I visited this place back in 2019. I walked around the outside, but then like a security guard came up to me and my two friends and said we had to leave. It was freaking creepy.
Asylums. Asylums were set up to be safe spaces for the mentally ill to stay and receive treatment. But very quickly, many of them became overstuffed testing grounds for disturbed practices. In the early days, it was believed that internal imbalance was to blame for these illnesses.
So these doctors had no idea what they're talking about.
And have them bleed into buckets to restore
Oh my
balance.
God.
When this didn't work, the treatments would get more and more extreme. Teeth would be pulled, tonsils would be removed, and eventually they even began trying to remove pieces of the stomach.
Their teeth and tonsils were removed? How is removing someone's teeth gonna help with any mental issue they have? What the hell were these doctors thinking?
Intestine and the colon, all because they thought this would restore balance
to
the body and the mind. However,
yeah, I have a brother with autism, Nadine.
Often led to death, and we know now that they were virtually ineffective.
Wow.
Aside from the unimaginable procedures, patients were kept like prisoners, being trapped in overcrowded dark rooms that were rarely, if ever, clean.
And they would be like locked to chairs.
They would be beaten. It was painfully clear that these asylums just weren't working.
Oh my gosh, I remember this building. I went there at nighttime too, guys. Do you know Outlast, the freaking horror game, was based off Hotel Henry? And they would like, I've watched videos too where like back in the day, they would just like strap or tie people down to chairs and they would sit there all day or maybe multiple days and they would just leave them locked up to the chair because the doctors and nurses didn't want to deal with them. So they would just like strap them down in chairs or beds. That's terrible.
And in fact, they were doing more harm than good. This inspired famed architects Henry Richardson and Frederick Olmsted to come together to create a facility that was different. An asylum that
could freaking creepy
patients rather than harm them. And with that, the Buffalo State Asylum for the Insane was created.
Wow. This is so weird seeing Nick Crowley go here because I literally went to this place. It had a creepy vibe. It had a creepy ass vibe.
The asylum featured a multitude of different groundbreaking architectural designs.
It's a beautiful
that were supposed
building.
to help heal the patients.
But it's creepy.
The architects believed that natural sunlight would help to settle the sick and eventually aid in their healing process. Because of this, over 2,000 large windows were installed in the buildings, along with incredibly high ceilings to make the rooms and halls seem even more open.
I wonder if it's haunted. Oh, hell yeah. I walked through it with my two friends, Austin and Steven, and there was a weird vibe there. It was
the building
weird.
Also featured many curved walls, which supposedly was done to make it more difficult to place rows of patients on hospital beds throughout the hallways.
Yeah, Amanda, right?
This discouraged overcrowding, which was a common problem in many asylums at the time.
Wonder if there's like
what they did here was they
tuberculosis and crap.
Cages so that the patients could come out and get fresh air and natural sunlight. Which that was the whole idea of this place when it first started. It was for better care for the mentally ill. And so
hey,
they
Marissa.
gave them outdoor time like this, and they gave them natural lighting with all the windows in there, and they tried to do things better at first. But things changed. Despite its admirable beginnings.
Wow, look how massive this building is. This picture here has to be like 100 years old. It's so creepy, but it's like beautiful at the same time.
The Buffalo Asylum slowly became a notoriously gruesome place to live.
Wow, that picture.
A building designed for patients to have space and to avoid overcrowding soon became overrun. And a facility built for just 6.
Please watch Mr. Ballin' Top 3 Serial Killer Encounters Creepy.
Coffee Lover, thank you so much for the donation. Thank you for using Streamlabs as well. A little bit more towards my new PC. Appreciate the support, Coffee.
600 patients.
What did I went there over the summer, and as soon as I walked in, a guard asked me, "Can you please leave?" And I was asked why. He said, "We no longer having people tours." I'm not sure why though. Wasn't given a reason. That's dumb. It'd be cool to go through a tour.
As many as 3,000 ended up being held there at a time. This led to a lack of space, which forced many of the sick to live in the halls or even outside. Because of the influx of patients, the care only got worse.
I love old buildings like that, including movie theaters from the 1900s. Oh, I know. It's beautiful. Beautiful architecture for sure.
As the hospital had stopped using innovative treatments and instead resorted to the more commonly used, cruel practices. Patients would be tied to their beds and beaten if they misbehaved.
I said that earlier.
Meanwhile,
People will just be
they
like
would be
tied
subjected
down.
to electroshock therapy as well as hydrotherapy. And the procedures just got worse. Those
Literally
suffering from schizophrenia.
Literally none of these practices that the doctors did back in the day did anything positive.
Often be given insulin so that the patient would fall into a coma. At the time, it was thought that the patients would wake up with a clearer mind. However, this came with a fatality rate that was estimated to be as high as 10%. The hospital would also use
10% died? Damn.
to induce seizures in patients, and even lobotomies, which were notorious for causing permanent brain damage as well as death.
Wow.
Patients would also be
That's crazy.
artificially sterilized by doctors as they didn't want them to reproduce. The dream of the Buffalo Asylum ever becoming a place of healing for the mentally ill had faded.
Turned
In
dark
the end,
fast.
It became everything that it tried not to be. Over time, the patients would slowly be pulled.
Asylums were more torture to mentally ill people during those times, and that's why America has haunted asylums and hospitals right now, because doctors were 100%, Chris. There was 100% abuse and wrongdoings going on in these asylums, I guarantee it.
Out of the asylum until the 70s, when operations would be shut down completely, causing the building to become abandoned and to slowly deteriorate. But even before this happened, there were stories of the paranormal inside of this complex.
Oh, damn.
And to this day, it's renowned as one of the most haunted places in Buffalo.
Yes, someone just asked earlier if it's haunted. It's known as one of the most haunted places in America. Wow.
Grew up. As a kid, I would hear stories of how the ghosts of...
Oh, Nick Crowley grew up in Buffalo, New York? I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Patients still roamed the halls of the abandoned building. Lost souls trapped in a place that was likely hell on earth for many of them. It's a building that I've
Happy
drove
New
by
Year,
1,000
Nadine.
times, and it's always left me creeped out whenever I would think of it.
I agree.
Just picturing how many people died within those walls.
Disturbing.
And the tragic ways in which they passed. It always just made sense to me that it was haunted. An abandoned, haunted, insane asylum. It's certainly nightmare fuel.
Do you guys know, did Ghost Adventures, like Zach Baggins and those guys, ever do a Ghost Adventures episode here? I'll have to look it up. Maybe one of you guys in the chat would know. I love Ghost Adventures, but I'm not sure if they ever did an investigation here at Hotel Henry. I'm not sure.
But as it turns out, it's not abandoned anymore.
The complex, built in the 1800s, was an asylum for people who had mental disabilities. The Richardson Complex buildings are currently being transformed into a hotel and conference center. There is new life.
Yeah, when I visited, it was a hotel.
After $100 million of renovation, the former asylum has now been turned into a luxury hotel.
Wow.
With one of the darkest backstories for any hotel that I've ever heard of.
It is a beautiful
With all things
building.
Considered, many believe that this could turn out to be one of the most haunted hotels in the country.
Oh, wow.
Given its history alone. And tonight, we'll be staying there.
Oh, Nick's gonna stay the night here? Oh, that should be interesting. Guys, when was this uploaded? Guys, this was uploaded August 13th of 2020, so Nick Crowley made this video about a year after I visited here, so wouldn't it have been funny if I ran into Nick Crowley if I went to Buffalo a year later?
What's that smell? This place definitely has an odor to it.
Oh, is he there with his girl? Yep, that's the exact
I
carpets.
seriously cannot believe this.
The carpets look the same when I visited. Well, I guess that makes sense. I went there before,
a
but
weird feeling to it, just knowing that this used to
Cedarwood.
be a psych ward. Ready? Yeah. Oh my god! What the hell?
it's not cheap though.
Obviously, all this way.
I can't remember the price, but I know the hotel to get a room for a night was not cheap. It was like $400 or $500 a night. It was ridiculous.
Is the hotel, right? But as of
I wouldn't stay in this hotel either,
area
Chris.
Over here, everything that way is abandoned.
Do you guys know when I went here with my friend Austin and Steven in 2019? Because my friend Steven, MFF Gaming, he lives in Buffalo, New York. So I visited him. And hey, Nadine, thank you for the super sticker. People were not allowed to just go inside and explore. But Austin went in and talked to the lady at the front desk and said, we're visiting from out of state. Could we walk around a little bit? So we went up to like the 3rd or 4th floor on an elevator and walked around. No one ever told us to leave. We walked around in there for probably like a half hour. So we technically weren't supposed to be in there, but the lady said we could walk around and like for a little bit and look around. And I guess we got lucky because I don't think they just let people go in there and walk around unless you're like getting a hotel room to stay in, you know?
But still, there's nothing in there. It's completely run down.
When the Buffalo Asylum was renovated,
I remember that. There was doors that were locked. There's a section of the old asylum that's completely run down and deteriorated and gross. But those doors were locked. Like you couldn't get to the one section of the asylum that was all run down. I bet that's creepy as hell.
renovated into the Hotel Henry, the building was in such disrepair that the $100 million budget only funded 1/3 of the building's renovation.
Yeah, so there's
with the rest of the property still being abandoned and sealed off to the public.
There's 2/3
It's
that are
just
not
the
even
abandoned
finished.
parts that are off limits.
Nice, Mary.
Because of the current pandemic, the majority of the hotel itself is closed off, making it impossible to fully explore.
Normally, I would feel totally comfortable exploring all around this hotel, but obviously because of the
Yeah,
COVID
Cedarwood, I
restrictions,
did.
we have to be kind of careful.
Despite the limitations, we were able to visit every floor of that particular wing, with each floor proving to be extremely similar, with the exception of 4.
Floor 4.
Oh my god.
I don't think I went up to floor. I don't think I went to floor 4 because this does not look familiar. Oh, that's creepy. What are these giant wood beams?
I can only imagine what is in there. You getting any spooky vibes here?
Very much.
Yeah. There's something about this floor.
I don't think I
it
went on
feels
that
a lot
floor.
less welcoming, I guess. There's something very off, you're right.
From there, we walked around the perimeter of the complex and realized just how massive it really was, as well as how deteriorated the abandoned sections had become.
It's a massive building.
Another building to this complex that's also abandoned now. This place, it's huge, this place. Is this just a walkway to nothing?
No,
Oh my god. This walkway should lead to stairs, which would go up to that door. But now the door is just kind of floating there.
Look how old
Actually,
that
open it.
that door looks. That door looks so old.
I can't reach it. So what happened earlier is we saw a bunch of these things from our window just scattered all throughout the lawns here. And we thought they were some kind of concrete thing, but really they're just tiles from the roof that have fallen off. Because the
Wow.
abandoned part of this hotel is literally falling apart at the seams. Oh my god, look at the
It is
pile.
old as hell.
Look at the pile of them.
It's very
The
old.
whole damn roof's here. Come on, sweetie, go pose with the roof. Come on.
I'll be an Instagram girl with her balloons on her birthday.
Yeah, balloons on her birthday, except it's molded ceiling tile.
The roof is literally falling off.
I can't wrap my head around how big this is. Think about all the rooms in here. And you know the craziest part about it? We've seen how big this is. It was completely filled. In fact, it was so filled that they were overrun completely. And that's why they
The whole complex was filled with patients. That had to have been thousands of people. Oh my god.
here got so bad. And you think about all that, all the mistreatment that
He opens the door and the nun grabs him. Oh, hell no, Chris.
they had here, all the people who were so sick. I can't even imagine how many people died here.
Oh
all the
my
while,
gosh.
we are sleeping in this building, and it is now a luxury hotel. All right, so look, we just scaled all across this whole entire building. I'm thinking we're done right here. No. It keeps going all the way down there.
There's just
Okay, so you know how you said
building
earlier that this
after
is like the
building.
perfect place for a horror movie. Yeah. Well, it was the inspiration of some horror content. One of my all-time favorites.
In 2013, one of my favorite horror games.
I told you guys earlier, Outlast. The freaking horror game Outlast was based off of Hotel Henry.
of all time, Outlast was released. The game takes place in the fictional asylum known as Mount Massive.
Look
which,
at
as
it.
turns
It looks the
out, was
same.
modeled off of the Buffalo Asylum, which is now Hotel Henry, which just adds to the already terrifying building.
That is terrifying.
Let's see, what is your Outlast impression?
They
Just like-
based the Outlast game from this place.
Did you say to me?
Oh, this was a bad jump scare.
What you say to me, you little shit?
When I played Outlast, I about jumped out of my
I've
chair.
stayed at quite a few haunted hotels in my life, but I feel like this is different. Like, don't you think this is like...
Yeah, definitely.
It's different because at those other haunted hotels, they were just hotel rooms, and that's typically what they always were. But here, a room like this was probably used to keep
An asylum like that looks like you're asking for trouble. Yeah, I agree, Chris.
patients in.
Which is horrifying to think of.
It is horrifying to think of. We're gonna be sleeping on this bed in a
Yeah, think like how many thousands of maybe tens of thousands of people died at this asylum over what? Probably 100+ years before it closed down in like the 1970s. How many of those spirits are just roaming the hotel?
luxury room now. Meanwhile, people were chained to beds in this room. I feel like there's a really good possibility that somebody passed away in this very room.
Basically, I feel like out of all
What would you want to go back again? Honestly, Ryan, watching this video kind of makes me want to go back and explore some more. And I wouldn't mind metal detecting around the the outside grass areas of the Hotel Henry. I bet you there's a bunch of old coins and stuff around there. There's my coin collecting side coming out.
all the places I've stayed, this room probably has the best possibility of being haunted.
Basically, all I'm gonna do right now is ask some questions, see if there's any spirits around. Hopefully they can give us a sign, maybe that they hear us. Is there anyone here who would like...
Cedarwood. My parents live in Kentucky. Waverly Hills Sanitarium. That place is completely abandoned. I know Ghost Adventures did an episode there. That place is creepy as hell. I'm going to have to look up. I think someone said Ghost Adventures did go to Hotel Henry. I'm going to have to figure out which season and episode that was. I want to go watch the Ghost Adventures episode of them exploring this place here, Hotel Henry. I'd be kind of interested in watching that.
like to communicate?
Oh, you live in Kentucky? You've gone there, coffee lover Joel? You've gone there, Joel, to Waverly Hills?
Are there any former patients of the Buffalo Asylum in here with us? We are inviting you in.
Wow, Joel, I'm kind of jealous, bro.
Yeah, all right. We're all on this together. Trademarked song.
High School Musical.
Banger. Sorry. Can you move something? Did you hear that? Mariah and I both heard a noise coming from the bathroom that the microphone just barely picked up. And
Oh God, something moved in the bathroom. Well, I'd be out of there. I'd be like, hell no.
honestly, it wasn't anything too crazy or convincing, but it is relevant to what transpires next.
It sounded like it came from the back.
Yeah, me too, Chelsea. High School Musical.
Around, like...
Come in here.
That is creepy.
Are you trying to communicate with us? Alright, this is your last chance and then we're gonna go. If you want to communicate with us, if you want to speak with us, then please let your presence be known. Okay, I think we're good. Alrighty, so we did get the one little noise there, but you know, yeah, we got one little spook, alright?
It was spooky.
Not enough to keep us up at night.
Yeah. But there's more.
Guys, I don't know if I'd be able to sleep in this hotel room. I guess if I was tired enough and, you know, if I had my wife Bree with me, like Nick here has his girlfriend, it looks like. So at least he's not like in the hotel room by himself all alone. But I don't know. I feel like I'd be a little paranoid. Like I would not be able to sleep.
As Mariah and I were talking on the bed, I heard what sounded like a whisper, followed by obvious movement. At the time, I couldn't make out what I heard, but when I listened back, it sounds like something is
whisper?
softly saying hello. This whisper was followed by loud thuds that to me sounds like footsteps walking away from us.
Yeah, because why would Nick's girlfriend say hello? She's been with him all day. Why would she sit? So it wasn't the girlfriend's voice. Why would she just randomly be like, hello? That's bizarre. That's weird.
The strange noises continued.
What?
As this time, an obvious tapping noise could be heard.
What's up,
coming
Ian?
from the bathroom. A noise that seems unlikely to have been caused by any sort of natural creaking.
Hell no. Hell no. I know, Clarissa. This is creepy. What's up, Bobby?
Is there someone here with us?
He said, is there someone here with us?
Is there someone here?
Guys, what if like a
So we heard the first noise.
shadow
It was definitely
figure
different. It
popped
wasn't
out?
Tapping. It was more of a thud. Then it was just all this weird tapping where you could hear it, and it was definitely coming from the bathroom. And in case you didn't realize, we are alone in this hotel room, obviously, but there's also no one else in this hotel right now. Like, it is.
We haven't seen anyone.
We haven't seen anybody. It's.
That was a weird thing when I visited here as well when I walked through. I didn't see anybody. I was walking around these halls for probably 30 minutes. I didn't see one person. How does the hotel make any money if nobody's there? Do the ghosts pay rent every month? I didn't see anybody there either when I visited. Like, does anybody actually stay in this hotel?
Well,
Time to drink.
you know, we are so dumb for saying anything. We should have just kept our mouths shut.
You should have kept your mouth shut.
Keep your mouth shut.
Hey, it's depressed editing Nick here.
They pay
Nothing
in
new.
ghost
I had
money.
the rest of the footage for that night on a separate SD card, and now this is saying it's corrupted, it's unreadable. I basically lost.
Oh my gosh, that's the worst thing ever. He had a bunch of footage on this SD card and he can't get the video footage. Oh, that sucks.
all of that footage. It's unusable. It literally worked fine yesterday. I should have downloaded all the clips. I caught some great stuff that night. I was excited to show you guys. And now I just really don't know what to do. So kind of sucks. Pretty devastating.
What's up, Chip?
And now I'm kind of scrambling. So I'm going to sleep on it and come up with a plan tomorrow. After taking the night to mull over my options, I decided that my best bet was to just go back to the hotel and spend another night, which was expensive, but it also allowed for us to investigate even further.
Really quick, I want to show you guys something.
Best bet was to just go back to the hotel and spend another night, which was expensive, but it also allowed...
Do you guys see how the top of the two buildings is like green? You see how that's turned like a greenish, like a dark green color? That takes like over 100 years. That's copper. That's most likely copper. When they originally built that, the metal on the top of the peak there was probably like a, like a copper penny, kind of like a brownish copper color. Like over 100 years, copper will eventually turn like a greenish color. Like when I go metal detecting, if I find a really old penny in the ground, like from the 1900s, a lot of time when I take the penny out of the ground, I find with my metal detector, it will be green because pennies are made out of copper as well. That shows how old the building is. There's an old church in the town I live in here in Illinois, and the church has a similar thing going on where like the top copper roof of the old church is turning green. So that just goes to show how old the building actually is. It takes like 100 years for copper to naturally turn like a greenish color.
Allowed for us to investigate even further.
Hey.
Yeah, oxidation.
We're back, buddy.
Him and his girlfriend
Definitely
have to
different layout in
stay
here.
So
a
unfortunately, we
second
weren't
night.
able to get the same room that we were at last time, which does suck because I feel like we were actually onto something. I mean, we captured a lot of crazy shit that night, but it does give us the chance to explore another room to see if maybe this one is haunted as well. So we're gonna run a similar session in this room. So all in all, it should be another spooky night here. Okay, so we're gonna kind of run back the same test that we did at the other room to see if there's anything spooky going on here, because after all, each room is gonna be different. It's gonna tell a different story because different patients stayed in each one of these. So it's possible that one room's haunted here and the other isn't. Are there any spirits in this room that would like to make contact with us? Are there any patients here from the Buffalo Asylum whose spirits are still trapped?
He has the same microphone as me, a Blue Yeti, but his is silver. Hey, good night, Thomas.
As we were waiting for
Did he
some
just-
kind of
did
response,
he hear something
we
talk?
did hear some strange
someone talk?
noises, seemingly coming from all directions.
Hey, thanks for hanging out, Daniel.
Was that you that just made that noise?
There was like a weird tapping noise.
Is it hard for you having all these people come into this building? A building where you once suffered so much and now people are just living lavishly.
Yeah, Chris, I was just thinking that. Like, did Nick Crowley here have any other ghost hunting equipment, like a voice recorder or something? Yeah, like Ghost Adventures, they always use the little silver voice recorder. Because apparently the voice recorder like records on a frequency that ghosts and spirits can like talk into and communicate on, because like there's so many times in Ghost Adventures where they would record something on the voice recorder where you didn't hear the voice, but then when they play back the recorder, you can hear a voice. It's like it records their voice on like a different frequency or something. Yeah, so I think Nick should have had a voice recorder here. I agree, Chris.
Okay, so in the last room, weirdly enough, the bathroom seemed to be like a real hotspot for whatever reason. I don't know why, but
What's up, Bam?
I think we should go to the bathroom. All right, ready? Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Why is the
there anyone
bathroom
here
always
that
so
would like to
creepy?
communicate with us? All right, so this is your last chance. If you want to say anything, if you want to make your presence known, this is it, and then we're going to be leaving the room. So nothing really convincing. Kind of like last time, the first session went, we didn't catch anything.
Or
And it was kind of after
Nick
that
should
that
use a
everything
spirit
started
box.
happening. I
Yeah.
don't know, I'm just not feeling anything that paranormal in here yet, you know?
Yes.
Yet. I was gonna say, we got a long night ahead of us though. After failing to get any solid results from the session, we decided to visit another wing of the hotel, a wing that we hadn't yet explored. Okay, so this is actually the other wing of this building, and we're not sure if anyone's actually staying in here or not. We're about to find out though.
This looks like the
Okay, so
floor
what
I
I'm thinking
walked on.
here is that they're not putting people in this wing at all. You could tell there's no AC. They would definitely have AC, just like the other wing, if there were people up here, because it's just, it feels like it's 100 degrees in here, and it's not just because of the hoodie, you know?
Bro. Like,
Man's be sweating.
I had a good Christmas, Ian.
We were
Thanks,
shooting
man.
a scene talking about how hot it was in this wing, and honestly, it was a scene that I was right about to delete. But then I noticed something when I played it through for the final time.
Did he catch something in the
Another
window?
voice.
Oh, a
While I'm
voice.
talking, a clear whisper can be heard as soon as I finished speaking.
It feels like it's 100 degrees in here, and it's not just because of the hoodie, you know? Bruh. You know?
And to me,
What
it
the
sounds like
hell was
something is saying,
that?
don't speak.
It feels like it's 100 degrees in here, and it's not just because of the hoodie, you know? The hoodie, you know? Bruh.
That's clearly a voice. That wasn't Nick. He was saying something else. It was not his girlfriend's voice. That was 100% a voice. Don't speak. Yo, that's creepy.
So I'm assuming that means that we have this
Don't speak.
wing of the building to ourselves.
Don't speak. That's what it sounded like. Wow. This is bringing back memories walking through here. What the frick? A baby thing? It's like a pack and play for a baby.
In the moment, Mariah and I were so shocked to find this random cradle in the seemingly empty building that we didn't even notice the sound of footsteps. It sounded like someone was running away from the area.
Now there's footsteps? Oh, hell no.
Even if people were staying in this wing, why the f would this be in the middle of the hallway? I just don't get it.
Why would this be kept here?
That's
Right.
that's weird.
Am I crazy, or does that look like the silhouette of a person?
Yeah, that definitely does.
What the absolute... What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go
Literally looks like there's a
back
person
here.
just standing there watching us.
I remember how
Should
creepy
we
it
go check
was.
it out?
Bro, what?
Look at all that old brick. The old
so I'm
brick in the
assuming
building.
It was just this pillar. That makes you feel a little bit better.
What the hell was that? It's like something's trying to open the door that's locked to the other part. What is Guys, I remember there was doors like that had like you had to have like a chip card or something. You had to scan a chip. Probably only employees could go in those rooms. It probably goes to the part of the building that's unfinished and it's all decrepit and run down. That sounds like someone's trying to open the freaking door handle, but it's freaking locked. What the hell? What?
Is there someone in there?
The noise went away.
It's like the spirit of a...
In the moment, this was one of the scariest
was locked
things
in there.
I've encountered. It sounded exactly like someone was pounding on the door.
Like, let me
The
out.
high-pitched noise just made it even more off-putting.
It's like, help me, let me out. Guys, is it just me or does it literally sound like someone or something is messing with the door handle? Like they're trying to open the door, like they're like turning it. Sounds like something's trying to get out.
But looking back, my assumption is that there was likely machinery in that room, potentially connected to the elevator. But it was impossible to say for sure.
Well, that's
Whatever it really
a
was,
possibility.
it terrified us both. The issue is I don't know what's behind that door. So I don't know if it's anything paranormal, but it sounded literally like pounding against that door.
What the hell?
What is this? No idea. Okay, it doesn't go far.
It's like a room someone could be locked in.
Dude.
Wow.
All the way up. Look at that. All the way.
After exploring for a while, we
That's
ended up
weird.
going back to the room and doing one more session to see if we could capture anything else before we went to bed.
This is creepy,
After this,
guys.
We're gonna go to bed, we're gonna leave, and we will be gone. So this is your last chance to interact
Right,
with
Chip?
us, to let your presence be known. Can you move something? Can you say something? Can you give me a sign that you hear me?
I don't think he caught any more footage in the hotel room.
Alright, we're gonna leave, so I'm gonna ask one more time. Can you give me a sign that you hear me? So, kind of a disappointing way to end the night. I have a feeling that maybe this hotel room isn't haunted, at least not as much as the last one was. But the night's not over yet, because we still have to sleep here, you know? I'm gonna keep the camera by the bedside, and if anything happens, I'll turn it on and I'll let you guys know. And if not, I'll talk to you guys in the morning.
So nothing else happened, I guess. 900 billion. I'd do it for 900 billion. That's a lot of money. What was that? That is scary. What is that loud banging noise? What the hell was that noise?
I woke up the next morning to loud banging noises, seemingly coming from our door. I checked the peephole and I saw nothing. Given the daylight and the time that it happened, I'm more inclined to believe that this wasn't paranormal. But then again, I didn't see anyone in the hallway. Alright, so we officially made it through the night last night. Nothing crazy happened. I actually slept really well. And then this morning, I was woken up by some banging noises.
It could be someone
it was
like
pretty creepy. I'm not gonna lie. But
working in the
there's
hallway.
No way to really tell if that's paranormal. It was probably just somebody maybe in the hallway moving something around. So I can't say for sure what it was. But other than that, it was actually a really normal and relaxed and comfortable night. We survived, buddy.
For the second time.
Yeah. Throughout our time at Hotel Henry, we managed to capture quite a few strange moments, with the most convincing to me being the whispers. Strange sounds can always be blamed on a creaky building or someone in the halls, but hearing actual voices saying actual words, I can't find an explanation for it. Because of the hoodie, you know?
Yeah, it could be a ghost or a random person, who knows?
Throughout the past year, I found myself believing less and less in the paranormal, but these visits have actually made me change my perspective, and I truly believe that the Hotel Henry is in fact haunted. But of course, I'm not an expert, and that's ultimately left for the individual to decide. It's all made me question the decision to turn this former asylum into a hotel. Something about staying in a fancy, expensive suite, all the while knowing that people suffered in that exact room, it just didn't sit right with me.
Yeah, that would feel weird.
An incredible architectural gem, its past is so twisted that no amount of remodeling could ever cover up the disturbing history of Hotel Henry. On a creaky.
Well, guys, that was a very creepy video, the disturbing history of Hotel Henry, former asylum. This brought back a lot of memories when I walked through this exact building that Nick Crowley went through back in 2019. Ugh. It had a very creepy vibe. And just to think how many people died there. It's very sad. It's like sad and scary at the same time, you know?